guys, and welcome back to At Home with Elisa. This afternoon I am looking at digging up and storing all of my spring bulbs. So it's the end of our spring season. We're heading into the summer. We have a very short spring season here, but the spring bulbs are finished and it's time for me to either dig them up or just store them. So I wanted to show you how I do that. So I live on the central coast of New South Wales, and that is what's called a temperate climate. That's our grading in Australia. It is the equivalent of a zone 9B planting in the US. So I have done a little bit of research. So the same rules apply as far as the gardens are pretty much the same. It's just a different time of year that we do things. So I have a mixture of all different types of bulbs. I have ranunculus, I have iris, I have anemones, I have daffodils, a lot of different bulbs, and I wanted to show you how I store them. I believe that I have the most of daffodils. That's the type of bulb that I have the most of, and in our area we're actually able to leave them in the ground as they do naturalize, which means that they'll just keep coming back year after year. However, I don't actually have any planted in the ground as yet, just because I haven't established where I want them to be. So this spring I actually had them planted into pots. I had some in small pots, some in large pots. The ones in the small pots, I'm just going to literally just cut off the dead bits and then store them out of the way in an area that kind of will get a bit of shade, so it'll stay a bit cool, but it won't get a lot of rain, it won't get a lot of sun. The ones that are in the larger pots, I'm actually going to lift those up and store those in organza bags. The reason being is that I just want to use the pots for something else. I'm hoping that I can put watermelon and pumpkin seeds in them and move on to my summer crops. So the daffodils will be a little bit of an issue, but the rest of them are pretty straightforward and they're all planted in ground, the rest of them. And just here I have all of my potted daffodils. So some of them I actually planted over the top with like little violets or violas as well, and I will actually be pulling those out and I'll pop those into the garden because look, they're still beautiful. However, others just don't have actually anything in them, and I'll just pull them up and store those bulbs. Okay, let's get on with it. Okay, so these are the ones, the daffodils, that I am looking to keep in those pots. They all have their name, you can see little white name tags. They all have their name tags in them, so I know what they'll be next year. And I removed any plants that might be planted on top of them, the violas and such. That's just my rubbish bin. These are the violas and pansies that need to be planted into my garden. My pots that I've just freed up for watermelon and pumpkin and all the yummy summer fruits. And these here are my organza bags of bulbs. So there's just one variety in each bag, and I will just keep an eye on those over the next coming weeks because that soil was quite damp and I want to make sure that it actually dries out enough. You can't have them stored with any moisture, so that's one thing I will really keep an eye on over the next couple of weeks. So that's all my daffodils done. That is by far the most that I have. So let's move on to the smaller ones now. Hi guys, I just had to jump in here. I had a little bit of a YouTube fail. I think I was wearing gloves when I was doing some of the gardening and I thought I'd press record, and evidently I hadn't pressed record. So all those other bulbs that I was looking at showing you how I store them, yeah, I don't have any footage of it, sorry about that. They are just stored, they dug up and they are stored in organza bags as well. So now on with the footage. Okay guys, so that's it for today. I managed to get all of them out before dark. So I have some mixed bulbs in here and all of them are slightly different, so I'll be able to tell the difference between each of them. I have 3 different types of daffodils. This one here, wow. And then this one here is actually my ranunculus and some mixed bulbs as well. So all of these will store. I'll lay them out flat, allow them to dry over the next couple of weeks and just keep checking on them. Make sure I've got good airflow, and then once they're completely dry, I'm positive that they're completely dry, I'll be able to store them just in a nice dark cool place. So that will tide me over until I plant them out again in autumn. So thank you so much for joining me today while I took up all of our spring bulbs. I'm so excited for the next growing season. Watermelons, pumpkins, oh, dahlias. My dahlias are coming up. Oh, I just love going through the seasons here. Now that we're in the warmer weather, it's just so lovely. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you have liked this video, please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.